The African Israelite Justice Foundation is not your usual legal practice. You see, we focus primarily on cases involving injustice against African Israelite groups or injustice against individuals because he or she identifies as an African Israelite or an Israelite of African descent. In other words, we are not a general legal practice. Instead, we specialize on African Israelite cases. And also, family, please keep in mind, we are a brand new organization, not affiliated with any existing organizations. However, it is our hope to establish connections with all African Israelite groups and people here in the States and around the world. Family, we need to hear your stories of injustice so that we can begin to record, investigate, and identify the enemies of Israel hiding behind the veil, and then ultimately hold them accountable in a court of law. And as stated before, we are a brand new organization with limited funds, and we are in the process of expanding our resources to further enhance our legal team who will litigate our cases. And if you would like to join this historic cause, please share this message all over social media. Spread this message of IsraeliteJustice.org worldwide. And get this message from Kyrie to Kanye, from Whoopi Goldberg to Nick Cannon. And also share your stories of injustice or donate to the cause. And if you so choose to, you can remain anonymous and let us do all the work. After all, that's what the Israelite Justice Foundation is here for. We are here to fight for your right to be Israel. As always, thank you in advance. We appreciate you and love you, Israel. Take care, family. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, family. What's going on? What's going on? So, if you've never seen our website before with the Israelite Justice Foundation, I'm gonna share it with you really quick, and I'll drop the link. Step out. So, this is our site. Isn't it a beautiful site? Just running through it real quick. Everything about it is here. Stop Rio. Rio's in rare form, y'all. Our mission, I don't know who those dudes are. These are the people affiliated. Benaiah Israel President Larvin is the vice president. We got Morey Paul Bateman, Morey Vaughn, Morey Sauls, myself, Pastor Kelly, and Carlos Lewis. If these are the people that are affiliated with this. So if you want to contact us, you can contact us via here. Anything in reference to a case, you can go here. Donations. You can do that here. Just kind of look through the site. So I'm going to put it up here. And I'm going to put the link. So one of the reasons I want to bring this up because we are possibly working on a conference soon. I'll say that much. So stay posted on what we got event-wise, what we're going to do, and some of the faces that you all watch and love. hopefully we'll be able to participate in this conference. You know, Benaya will be there. I will be there. Pastor Kelly will be there. So yeah, I'm sorry because I'm eating. This is the first time I've been able to eat today. So let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pin this. So if you want to check out the site, you want to do any donations, if you want to just stay aware of what we got going on, go to the site. So let me pin it real quick, and then we can proceed. So I'm pinning it. If you're interested, please, 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 please keep up with what's going on via this site. All right. Y'all ready to get down to business? I pinned it as well. We also have a YouTube. I forgot to add that. Let me see. Let's check out the YouTube, and then we can get started. I wish Benaya was here. So he can make sure I go to the right site. So if you've not signed up for the site, please do. I might need to pin this one as well. Here's the YouTube family. Go under African Israelite Justice Foundation. We've got a few videos out here. We haven't really did anything yet. We're planning to do some in the future. So just be aware. If you've not subbed this, please do sub this. It's again African Israelite Justice Foundation on YouTube. We plan to possibly have some talks and some bridge building sessions. Just join, and also you can get an update there as well on any upcoming events that we have. If it be an event or if we give anything in reference to the conference, look here as well. But this is it's a work in progress, family. That's all I got to say. This conference. So hopefully y'all willing, we'll be able to do this and do it right. So hopefully we get YouTube people that y'all follow and y'all love to follow to get them to participate, y'all. So, all right, let's get down to business. And myself, I'm a part of it as well. I'm technically what you call the secretary. I am a horrible secretary, but I'm actually one that's going to be me and a couple others. We're going to be coordinating the event. Like I said, Benai, he's the president, and Larvin's is vice president. So make sure y'all join. Okay. And like I said, sub that channel if you haven't subbed it yet. Sub that channel. All right, let's get started. So I have been away from y'all for too long. I so apologize. Y'all, I have been working. And I told y'all I'm not going to allow myself to get so caught up with work that I don't, do what I'm supposed to do as far as here. So that's why I had to kind of slow down. But while I'm slowing down, it's a lot going on. So did y'all hear about, let me see. What's that lady, the congressman named Madison, that went off on Marjorie Green? We're going to play this. Marjorie Green thought she was going to get away with talking crazy to, who was it? Oh, Jasmine Crockett. That's her name. and make little comments about her eyelashes. And baby, Jasmine Crockett gave her that work. When I say she gave her that work, black folks is tired. Oh, black folks is tired. Black folks is tired. Oh, we tired. Y'all talk about us, and then we supposed to sit there and y'all be nice nasty with it. We finna get real ghetto with you. But we tired. We've been playing nice in the sandbox for how long, y'all? So I'm gonna play this real quick and we'll talk about it. Folks sick of it. She read her rights and they were shocked because they not used to us speaking up like that. Man, she went off on Marjorie Taylor so bad. So I'm gonna play it real quick. Trying to get straight to the point.
The future of your business is here with Wix.
All right, motion table.
21, the nays are 19 with 1 voting present.
All right, motion table. Now the chair recognizes Ms. Green for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
It's me. Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
part of the.
I'm trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I have no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
You just voted to do it.
Y'all
did it first, so you don't want to talk about
it.
to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized. Ms.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
Calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can
no,
you please calm
don't
down?
tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
Calm
noise,
down.
and then
You're out of control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send her
talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a
Mr.
problem.
Mr.
Order.
Chairman.
All right,
Sorry.
chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes
Not cute.
Ms. Green for 4 minutes and 21 seconds. 4 minutes. Let Ms. Green talk, and then you all can. I'll recognize.
But I
on
move
this
to
side.
strike her words for a second time based on her second set of personal remarks attacking another member.
Who?
Chairman Comer.
Because you all cannot
I have an
seem
amendment at
to
the desk,
apply
and this
the rules
sideshow
of the
needs to
committee.
stop.
We have to do this every time.
Hey,
Ms.
I'm
Jordan,
recognized.
look,
I'm recognized.
order.
I'm going to
Listen,
go ahead and start talking.
Look, I know. Look, I don't know if you've noticed it. I have 2 hearing aids. I'm very deaf. I'm not understanding. Everybody's yelling. I'm doing the best I can. Can we not recognize Ms. Green and let
We
her get?
cannot because of the rules of the committee, Mr. Chair. That is what I'm trying to communicate in the present moment.
She called her
What's the motion?
bad
The
body
motion
bleach
is to
blonde.
strike the
Let her have
gentleman's
it.
words
Let her have it.
for the second set of remarks, not the first, the second that applied to me.
She has no idea. I think, Mr. Chairman, I'm the only one recognized right now.
We objected at the time.
Will the member state the word she wishes
Yes.
struck?
She told me, or she asserted that I was not intelligent.
So
These are
I'm
the
playing the
specific words.
begin. Hold on.
We can have it read by the clerk,
It was made immediately.
and it was made immediately. I am not moving
I
now.
don't think it was
I am not
timely.
It was
moving
made
now.
immediately, both by the gentlelady and by me.
Mr. Chair,
look.
it was made immediately.
It was made
and
immediately,
you said
both by
that
the
you would
gentlelady and by
return
me.
to us.
Yes.
She said, "You don't have the intelligence to talk to me," is what she said.
The chair recognizes Ms. Green for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, what is
I
happening with the ruling?
I object to the ruling. Now.
We must object.
I mean, if you want to take it up,
Move on.
yeah.
Move on.
We should just adjourn.
Yeah.
Because
I was. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just glad that these chairs are too big to thrust. This is not oversight, it's serious.
Mr. Chairman, a point of order.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, on a point of order.
So she wasn't having it. She wasn't having it. She wasn't having it. So I actually have, I think, the back and forth that initially happened. Hold on. Here we go. I think this is it. Hold on.
You know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking. Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
you still
think your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman, would you please regain order of your committee?
Order.
Please.
There's a point of order.
We have a point of order. Mr. Lynch, state your point.
Mr. Chairman,
Now she started it. She started it. She said, your fake eyelashes. I'm like, seriously? You hit us, you come at us and you make comments and then say, oh, calm down. No, you're going to get that energy that you deserve. So let's finish watching.
I would just like to ask the parliamentarian if your conduct here in raising money in connection with this hearing is referable to the Ethics Committee within this hearing. Is a motion in order to refer your conduct and your abuse of
It's not a point of order.
Mr. I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Oh,
girl, baby girl.
oh, really?
Don't even play,
Baby girl? I don't think
we are gonna
so.
move, and we're gonna take your words down.
I second that motion.
So who will have to pay it? Okay. All right. We're suspending. 1 second.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's
It's me.
Ms. Crockett?
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
parliament.
Trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike
I
those
had no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just.
You just voted to do
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get
Ms. Crockett,
clarification.
you're not recognized. Ms.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And you
yelling.
don't want me
Calm
to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm
don't
down?
tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if
Look, Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a
Mr.
problem.
Chairman, Mr.
Order.
Chairman.
She's going out.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Chair now recognizes
Not cute.
Ms. Green for 4 minutes and 21 seconds. 4 minutes. Let Ms. Green talk, and then I'll recognize.
But I
on
move
this
to
side.
strike her words for a second time based on her second set of personal remarks attacking another member.
Who? Chairman Comer.
Because you all cannot
I have an
seem
amendment at
to
the desk, and
apply
this
the
sideshow
rules of the
needs to
committee.
stop.
We have to do this every time.
Okay, I'm
Listen,
recognized. I'm recognized.
Order.
I'm going to
Listen,
go ahead and start talking.
Look, I know. Look, I don't know if you've noticed it. I have 2 hearing aids. I'm very deaf. I'm not understanding. Everybody's yelling. I'm doing the best I can. Can we not recognize Ms. Green and let
We
her get?
cannot because of the rules of the committee, Mr. Chair. That is what I'm trying to communicate in the present moment.
We have a Okay, what's the motion? What's
The motion is to strike the gentlelady's words for the second set of remarks, not the first, the second.
She
that
has
applied
no
to
idea.
me.
She has no idea. I think, Mr. Chairman, I'm the
know what
only
the
one
words
recognized
were?
right now.
But we objected at the time.
Will the member state the word she wishes
Yes.
struck?
She told me, or she asserted that I was not intelligent. These are the specific words. They're like, we can have it read by the clerk.
It was made immediately.
And it was made immediately. I am not moving now.
I don't think it was
I am not
timely.
It was
moving
made
now.
immediately, both by the gentlelady and by me.
Mr.
Guys,
Chair,
look.
it was made immediately.
It was made
and
immediately,
you said
both by
that
the
you would
gentlelady and by
return
me.
to us.
Guys,
She said, you don't have the intelligence to talk to me, is what she said.
the chair recognizes Ms. Green for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, what is
I
happening with
object
the ruling?
I object to the ruling now.
We must object.
I mean, if you want to take it up.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
just a-
AG.
I don't
Point
think
of-
you
point
know
of
what
order.
you're here
President.
for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order, Mr.
That's
Chairman.
beneath
Would
even
you
you.
please regain order of your committee?
Order.
Please.
Okay, so let's get into it. They certainly are. That was initially in that clip, Jasmine Crockett, Representative Crockett, responding to Marjorie Greene prior to the clip, asking a question about the daughter of the judge presiding over Donald Trump's hush money trial, which, to be clear, has absolutely nothing to do with why Congress was in session right there. That committee meeting was about whether Merrick Garland should be held in contempt of Congress for not providing like the audio tapes of Joe Biden being interviewed about his handling of classified documents. So that was the actual context. Marjorie tried to make a cheap point to appeal to the MAGA world. And when Jasmine Crockett pointed out that that had nothing to do with it, that was when Marjorie decided to do the best she can. She rubbed all three of her neurons together and came up with a weak dog whistly attack against Jasmine Crockett's appearance. So the hearing got suspended at that point briefly, but that was certainly not the end of it when Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez jumped in.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Oh.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play,
Baby girl? I don't think
we are gonna move, and we're gonna take your words down.
I second that motion.
That Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
needs to apologize.
recognizes
No.
Perry. Okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's gonna be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then you're not striking your words.
I am
You're
not
retracting.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the minority.
pretty self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not.
out of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd like to strike those words as well. I would like order.
Generally, you hear comments like those coming from Green being shouted at, like teachers at a PTA meeting or something like that. Unfortunately, Marjorie Greene is actually a party to that meeting. But again, that was not the end of it. We're gonna give Jasmine Crockett the final word.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those.
I don't think that's a
Hold on.
part
I'm
of the.
trying to find clarification on what.
Wait a minute, y'all. Sis got petty. She said it and looked back like, yep, I said it. Y'all, I am laughing so hard because she said bleach blonde, butch body. She gave her that word within just a couple of words. BBBB. Bleach blonde, butch body. Baby, she didn't expect that word from that sister. That sister said, oh, you gonna talk about my eyelashes? She said, I got you, Saints. Gotcha, you played yourself, but I'm finna make you remember. I'm finna hurt, black women, I'm just gonna be honest, y'all. When we are at that point where we just don't care, we gonna talk about you so bad. We gonna make you wish that you didn't have the ancestors that you had. We gonna make you hate your ancestors. We gonna make you hate yourself. That's just how we are. We're not finna, she said, bleach, blonde, bad butch body, and stop right there and then look back like, yep. I just want to go back to that, y'all. That was hilarious. When I saw, I said, why is she looking back like that?
Bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Chairman,
I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's a
Hold on.
part
I'm
of the.
trying to find clarification on what Chairman, motion to
I have
strike
no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard. Have you ever done a recording?
voted to do
Y'all did it first, so you don't talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification. Look at calm down. No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get clarification.
You're not recognized. Miss
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your yelling.
Don't want
Calm
me
down.
To be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
calm
noise
down.
and then
You're out of control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk about her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
don't have a problem.
Okay, so I certainly have thoughts, but Cenk, what do you make of that?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. I'm gonna do a slightly ironic defense of Marjorie Taylor Greene in a second, and then I'm gonna also unleash on a couple of things that she said there. But first, actually, I'm curious, Mondale, is the fake eyelashes thing racial?
I think the content, yes, it absolutely is racist, and I think it has to do with what European standards of beauty are, and not what African American women of African descent classify. So it's again a white woman trying to tell a black woman how and what beauty is and what is acceptable as it pertains to what you add to your body or take away from your body. So in that context, I think that's the context that people are making it about race.
Yeah. So and let me be clear, I like the Crockett strike back. Okay.
You know, I got to add my own commentary to this. Y'all, I'm gonna remove this for a second. We're gonna come back to it. Her clapback was so crazy to the extent, y'all, that the two representatives said what? And then laughed about it. You can tell they was chuckling on the inside. She said, Butch, hold on, I gotta play it back. She said, Butch, come on, y'all, put in the comments. Because her clapback was so hard and so fast. Butch with beach blonde, bad butch body. That clapback, though, that clapback gave me so much life, y'all. That clapback was letting the ancestors know that we got this. When I saw that, y'all, on TikTok, I laughed so hard and played it over and over and over again. What did she say? Bleach blonde. It was so treacherous. She said bleach blonde, bad butch body. She gave her that word. Y'all know she gave her that word. You know that Marjorie Greene went home and cried after she gave her that word. Oh, baby, she gave her that word. She said, not today. For me and my ancestors, this is what I'm going to say to you. Y'all can't do this no more. Y'all can't talk about us bad and then expect us to sit and just be like, oh, we're going to play nice in the sandbox. Those days are over. Playing nice in the sandbox got us nowhere. So you want to go there? I'm going to talk about you and your ancestors. Your ancestors going to come to visit you tonight and say, girl, don't you ever argue with her again. Baby, I promise you. I promise you. She bleach. Thank you, Truth and Light. She said, I put it in the chat 5 times. Bleach blonde. Bad butch body. God. I couldn't have gotten those words to say that myself. I don't know. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, she wasn't playing with her. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me move Rio for a second. Hold on.
And so the part that I'm mildly ironically defending Marjorie Taylor Greene on is, I don't care about decorum. So I think it's great that they had a shouting match. I love that all rules of etiquette have been broken. I don't think it's like, oh my God, they're third graders. I'm so disappointed with what's happening. No, people in Congress need to be yelling at each other a lot more. So I'm glad that that has begun. Now, having said that, who's
So with therapy, it sounds like it's helped you.
Yeah, very much.
Would you be the person that you are today without therapy or the support system that you have in place?
Certainly not. I don't think I could have learned all
right, who's wrong.
That's funny. The therapy commercial come on after that. Y'all, that is too funny. She need therapy after that. I'm gonna keep playing it.
She says to AOC that she doesn't have enough intelligence to debate Marjorie Taylor Greene. See, that's why I like Crockett's Strike Back, because okay, we're talking about looks. Okay, as long as it's all right to talk about looks, then I'm gonna talk about looks. So let's be clear. I mean, don't tell me that she doesn't have to apologize, but then I can't say the same things that she said, right? So that I enjoy a lot. In terms of, and then the calm down trick that they did on Representative Crockett drives me crazy. So that's the number one trick that folks use on me when we get into a debate about Israel. You know, they'll say horrible, disgusting things. And then when I respond, they're like, oh, just calm down. What's the big deal, right? As if they're the calm ones, etc. But guys, this is what I'm curious about in terms of both of your reactions. Look, I think that etiquette has kept these folks from criticizing each other about the most important thing in the world, which is money in politics. They're all taking, well, not all, but a lot of them are taking bribes, legalized bribes. And I want all of this decorum BS to break down. So, and then it's beginning to happen on the right and the left, where they're beginning to say, yeah, I got a problem with your eyelashes. I got a problem with the fact that you have a busted body or whatever that thing is. But also I have a problem with that guy over there taking tons of money from oil companies and defense contractors. That has begun to happen. In the perfect decorum world, that never happened. And I would much rather have that happen and have some fights along the way than not have it happen. So that's my potentially unique opinion. Mondale, what do you think?
I don't think it's unique. I think our politics are absolutely too nice, fake nice with decorum and all of these rules. I appreciate the back and forth. I grew up in a community that cracking jokes on people was a thing. And I think Marjorie Taylor Greene might have just found out that in one we call a snapping session, she just got bissed. She got, the B word means something completely different now. On one take, her little eyelash joke took her all the way into Black culture. She learned real quick how quick we are when it comes to snapping jokes on people. I think there's some beyond the funny part. I think there's some truth to what you're saying, Jake, in that we need to have people screaming about how ridiculous it is, how sickening our politics are, where that Donald Trump is a candidate for somebody, whereas the Supreme Court can show up in the manner that they are. And the gerrymandering that is a part of our politics, also somebody should be screaming about that as well. So I'm super happy about it. I was hoping for more. I'm sad it's only a 3-minute clip.
And I just remembered Mondale. For those of you who don't know, Mondale is the mayor of Enfield, North Carolina, and he's the one that took down the Confederate statue there. And people thought that that was a violation of etiquette and decorum. And the reason he's on here in the first place, so after all those years, is because he violated decorum and etiquette in a way that I absolutely loved, and we loved here at the network. So that's a good principled position, John.
Yeah, I find it to be fun. I do. I like parts of it. I don't like others. I agree, like with the general idea of what you're saying. I don't know if this is a great example of it. Like if it was being willing to like call out like either hypocrisy or their funding or something like that, then that would be one thing. But the origin of this was Marjorie Greene decided that this BS hearing, which is already BS, they want tapes of Biden. There's no crime that they think is gonna be found on the tapes. They just want the tape because they think it'll make Biden look bad or whatever. And so they're doing a hearing, and that's not even enough for Marjorie Greene. So she has to bring up the New York judge's daughter. Again, has nothing to do with anything. The content of the actual hearing is BS. This is more BS than that. And Jasmine Crockett points that out. And that's what starts the breach of decorum, the attacking of the eyelashes. She points out that Marjorie Greene doesn't seem to know what the hearing is about, which is accurate because she's not talking about what the content of the hearing is. And then Marjorie Greene, it's not just that it's a dog whistle. What the hell are her eyelashes supposed to do with her ability to hear what people are talking about? Like, if it's gonna be decorum breaking, if it's gonna be impolite or whatever, at least do what Jasmine Crockett did, which is it's clever, it's snappy. If Jasmine Crockett had just yelled that she was a bitch or something, it wouldn't be interesting. I wouldn't be giving her a lot of points for that. And that is the best that Marjorie Greene can do. To yell, why don't you debate me? You don't have the intelligence. That's just, it's pathetic. If we're gonna have, like a UK style parliamentary fight or what occasionally happens in Japan or something, maybe minus the punching, I just want it to at least be clever. And unfortunately with Marjorie Greene as a part of it, that's unlikely to happen. Can I throw one extra thing out before we talk? Just because there has been a lot of criticism of this, and I wanna give AOC credit for criticizing one of the critics. So John Fetterman had tweeted, in the past I've described the US House as the Jerry Springer show. Today I'm apologizing to the Jerry Springer show, to which AOC said, I understand you likely would not have stood up for your colleague and seem to be confused about racism and misogyny being a both sides issue, but I stand up to bullies instead of becoming one. And to the women of Pennsylvania, I'd stand up for you too, enjoy your Friday, obviously referencing him being incredibly dismissive towards that protest. You see, that's a breach of decorum I can get behind. Fetterman was wrong, she's pointing it out, she's not being polite, and it's substantive. I like that.
Yeah, but if we hadn't had the original break.
Okay, enough of that. I'm done talking about that. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, when I saw it, my roster child over here, y'all promise y'all, my child is borderline roster. Y'all pray for me. I'm just joking. She watching the Bob Marley movie. So if you hear that in the background and you hear Bob Marley in the background, just know, yeah, my daughter is listening to watching the movie. So she is a Bob Marley fan. But that is too funny, y'all. That is way funny. So that's the humor. I know I've been giving y'all a lot of news that has been like harsh and kind of been not harsh, but been kind of like serious. Today, when I saw that, I said, let me give them a little funny side to, to the politics. Now on to the politics. Let's talk about that. So Biden decides to go to the HBCU and still do his commencement speech for, I think it's Morehouse. So with that being said, Black students was they said were ignored because they did not want Biden to come and do the commencement speech. Keep in mind right now, we're in a situation where we got a president in office that is funding foreign affairs, where the country is now in a position that we are in an economic upheaval right now. You can't even explain how bad the economy is right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, I need to drink some water, but you can't fathom how bad the economics are. But the economics right now are horrible. But while we're in an economic catastrophic event, he's funding wars that from Ukraine to Israel to quietly funding Taiwan. So everybody is not pleased. Everybody's not pleased right now. But in the process of not being pleased, I get tired of these boule ninjas. Boule, and I'm going to say it out loud, boule ninjas that care nothing about the people but care more about their prestige and their name. That's one thing I never allowed myself to get caught up in is the boule mindset of, yes, a boss, we're going to invite you to our school. We got our great president here to speak on behalf of the student body, and the student body is saying, no, thank you. But because your head is so far up your boule butt that you have no regard for the Black bodies that attend that particular school. So even though they do not want him to speak, your head is so far up Biden's boule, I'm gonna say it like that you don't want to hear what the student body is saying. These HBCUs you use now is getting out of control, where we're so into pleasing our white masters and not caring about our own people. Why would you? I wouldn't. Right now at this point, Biden can't talk to me about zero until we have a conversation about reparation. I don't want to talk to a politician. I don't want to have a conversation until we talk about the real problems of the Black community, what the Black community is dealing with on a consistent basis. We're dealing 400 years being in this country, over 400 years in this country, building this country, making this the great country that it is. Because our free labor, you want to sit here and play with us on semantics about do we deserve reparation? And what kills me is the boule-minded individuals that's being paid in the back room to keep their lips sealed. I say, oh, I don't want them to give us money. You're not giving me money. You pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I want to make my own money. You're not giving me what I'm owed. That debt is owed to me. But the Boulet's mindset is they don't want us to get, they don't like the fact that they like to be above us. They have their house ninja mentality. They like to be above us. If they give us reparation, they put everybody on an even playing field. They don't want to do that. So their white handlers are paying them to keep their people oppressed. I have a serious ought against them. And the Most High gonna hold them accountable for that. I got a serious ought against them. Like, how dare you bring this individual to come to speak at your institution? And guess what? They don't want him to come and speak, but you still invite him. So with that being said, I'm gonna play this video, and it's from The Hill. Shout out to The Hill. Not necessarily The Hill, but Brianna, shout out to her. She does an amazing job, I think, from a newscaster's perspective, to be able to hold her own, baby. She don't play no games. But I'm gonna play some of the conversations that was had about this. But I just woe to those boule individuals. But they keep us more oppressed than the clear people. They keep out their feet on. I said foots, y'all pray for me. Feet. They try to keep their feet on our necks. It's just you're living a fantasy. Because at the end of the day, whenever they make a decision to be done with all of us, the boule will go to as well. You can't think you playing that side and they're gonna give you a pass, honey. You don't get a pass. They use you, and guess what happened? They're gonna throw you away. So let me do this. I'm getting ready to play what transpired. But I have a serious problem with these. The HBCU is not what it used to be. It's not. Also, with the situation with Howard. Howard didn't let the family come in for the graduations for their kids. Y'all, my heart hurts because we had the Black institutions where the teachers cared about the students. Now these new administrators care about a title. They care about a title and don't care about the people. Man, well, that's why the Most High says, I got an ought against you leaders. He got an ought against them. Israel going to be held accountable greater than the heathen. Because guess what? He going to say, you know better. And you did your people like that? Oh, the Most High, man, held accountable. That's all I got to say. But let's play this.
Tensions at Morehouse, a historically Black college, are escalating as Biden gets closer to delivering the commencement speech there on Sunday. The Biden administration was so concerned with the potential for protest over Biden's handling of the war in Gaza that they sent the head of the White House Office of Public Engagement to meet with a group of students and faculty a week before the speech. Now, here's a glimpse of that meeting where a Morehouse student expressed his concerns.
Right now, I'm being told that we need to use our platform as Morehouse men
Why are we using it to support someone who hasn't been supporting Palestine and Gaza and things like that? How are we being global cosmopolitan citizens? What precedent does that set?
Still, the New York Times has insisted anti-war protests haven't happened at Morehouse. The Times published an article recently titled, "Why Anti-War Protests Haven't Flared Up at Black Colleges Like Morehouse," and wrote, quote, "The reasons stem from political, cultural, and socioeconomic differences with other institutions of higher learning. While HBCUs host a range of political views, domestic concerns tend to outweigh foreign policy in the minds of most students. Many started lower on the economic ladder and are more intently focused on their education and their job prospects after graduation." Now we have host of the Savvy Sabs podcast, Sabrina Salvati, here with us today to talk about why she disagrees with the New York Times' take. She joins us now to discuss. Welcome back to the show, Sabrina.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on.
So what do you make of this kind of clear contrast between the New York Times' framing of HBU students in particular not having protests, not being as agitated around the Biden administration's handling of the war in Gaza as predominantly white institutions, and what we're clearly seeing in this video where there's enough discord and pushback at Morehouse to require the White House to send an emissary to talk to the students in advance of Biden showing up to do this commencement address?
Well, I think mainstream media has painted this narrative that most of the protesters are just a bunch of rich white kids. That's actually not true. There have been protests at Morehouse that I've covered on the show as well. It's just that mainstream media is choosing not to focus on them, because if they do focus on those protests, then it will actually show people that African Americans have an issue with this as well. And it also reflects on Joe Biden's poor polling right now with the African American community. So they don't want that narrative to get out. But yeah, there is a misconception that all the protesters are just rich white kids, but that is actually not the case. In reference to Morehouse in particular, yes, they did have a meeting with President Thomas, and they did express their opinion about Gaza and the decision of the school to actually have Joe Biden speak at commencement, which they seem to be very much against. It's really interesting to me that Joe Biden feels comfortable.
Let me add one more point to this, y'all. What we're seeing done to Gaza is nothing but 2 steps away from being done to us if they wanted to, and they could have the power to do it. The framework and how to take and oppress people and make them look like they're the bad guy while you're oppressing them is the same thing they did to us. Just think, y'all, if the U.S. ever decided, because Israel is doing it now. What if the U.S. ever decided, okay, we gentrified everything. Think about it. We're going through a situation called gentrification. Gentrification, I look at it as no different than what they do with the Palestinians, pushing them out of their house. They can't push us out of their house, but they can increase rent where they're pushing us out through rent, through putting in residential laws, increasing tax, insurance companies coming at us, doing things like that, raising a homeowner's insurance to push us out. They can't bomb us physically. They can't attack us physically, but they can do it under the scenes. Ask yourself what gentrification is. I'll wait as I drink my blueberry lemonade. Don't talk about me, Sheila, if you're listening. What do you think gentrification is, y'all? They're going into these neighborhoods. They're considered to be urban neighborhoods. And you know, urban is a code word for Black neighborhoods. They're changing the look of the neighborhood. And guess what they're happening? They're increasing rent and mortgage so that we can't buy into those neighborhoods. So guess what? They're pushing us out. People are like, well, if that's the case, y'all should have kept those neighborhoods to yourselves. Do you know what they do to some of these people that try to keep their houses? Great example. Somebody I know, older person, had their house in their neighborhood for almost 30 years. The insurance company reached out to this elderly person and told them, you're going to lose your homeowner's insurance because of a situation that happened, and we think your roof needs to be repaired. And if you don't, we're gonna drop you drop you. So ultimately, the person ended up getting the roof fixed, and guess what? They still ended up with issues with the insurance company. So because that person had money set aside, they were able to find a new insurance company to create a new policy on the house. But they made it so hard for the elderly person to the point that if they didn't have the money, they would have lost their house. They don't do things coming straight at you. They have multiple avenues coming at you because that house is in a neighborhood that is prime real estate, but they're waiting for the elderly to get old, to die out, so they can buy the houses. And guess what happens? They don't put those houses on the market. They keep those houses. Maybe they'll rent them, or they may keep it vacant. And when time is right, they'll take it, redo the neighborhood, and then take the property value of the neighborhood and quadruple it. Where at one time that house probably cost you $100,000. If you try to get into that neighborhood, it's gonna cost you $500,000, maybe even to the point of $1 million to get into the neighborhood. So guess what? You can't afford to do that. And I'm gonna tell you something. What killed me about middle class, clear people, they don't realize they're a problem too, but we're a greater problem. But you're a problem too. They're not just they're raising the rent to keep us out, but they also raising the rent to keep y'all out. And before you know it, real estate is going to be so high where people will not be able to buy homes. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here now. This is the situation that we live in right now. This is the situation we live in. So both sides are playing into it. But that's what I'm saying. What's going on in Israel is actually what they want to do here. They can't push us out with guns and bombs, but they can push us out with prices and increase property value. Working with insurance companies to ensure that you lose your insurance because they're gonna create rules where you have to have a lot of out-of-pocket money. Yeah. Or the thing is, they increase it where you can lose your house because your insurance is not, because people don't understand the importance of having homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance, it's like a car. You got to have car insurance on a brand new car. Same thing with a home. You got to have homeowners insurance. And if they can't beat you with homeowner insurance, we're gonna beat you with property taxes. But again, they try to do that with someone who doesn't have a problem with saving money, or has money. And what happened was that person was able to get that money and get the roof fixed. And you know why I know so much about this story? This was my mother. They tried to do that to her. They tried to, because she's in a prime location where the neighborhood is hot right now. My mother and father bought that house in the 80s. In the 80s, stayed in the neighborhood, even when the neighborhood went from good to bad, back to good. And guess what happened? It's back to good. And guess what? They want that neighborhood because it's prime location, prime real estate. And the insurance company tried to do her dirty. And you know what she did? She said, "Oh, I'm a little old lady that like to save money. Okay, I can pay for it out of my pocket." They didn't expect that. So that's what they do. They try to push us out. But the same thing they're doing in Palestine, y'all don't think the thing they do with the black folks. From the most rich to the most poor. There are Palestinians right now probably that was working with them or dealing with the Jewish community now having to move out possibly. Because when they make a move like that, they want you out. End of discussion. Gentrification is silent, a silent version of, I can't say apartheid because you can't do apartheid here right now. We know things can change overnight. But it's just quietly pushing you out, pushing you out, pushing you out. They're doing the exact same thing. Y'all pay attention. My question is this. I've asked this question numerous times. The Black people that lived in those neighborhoods, where are they now? These neighborhoods, New York is one big gentrified area. And what gentrification does, it destroys the original culture of the neighborhoods. And they give you a fake culture. Like, I don't want to see an art major in NYU whose mother and father are a lawyer and a lawyer for a major firm, but you decide you want to go to NYU for art. I don't want to see your graffiti art. I don't, because it doesn't speak to the neighborhood. I want to see the brother that grew up in this neighborhood, that knew in Fort Greene, that knew, because I know Biggie was from Fort Greene, or knew the individuals that lived here, knew Spike Lee, understood the rich history of the Black communities here. I want him to do the art, not some white guy that saw it on TV or read a book about it. I'm just gonna be honest, y'all. Can I be honest with you? Can I be real? I feel like being real today. I feel like being real because it irks me that I see that. So you give me a fake culture, but try to diminish the original culture. I want to see Raheem's graffiti art on the wall, because last I checked, Raheem would have went to jail if they would have caught him putting graffiti on the wall. But because it's not Raheem and it's Clarence that came from Connecticut, his mother and father pays for his college education so he can go to the prestigious NYU or Columbia. He comes into the neighborhood and he decides, I want to do graffiti art, and they love it. But it is what it is. But the boule, I think what gets on my nerves the most, I expect that out of them. I do expect Radio Raheem. I expect that out of them. I expect those people to do that. Oppressors don't know nothing but know how to do but oppress. When you have an oppressive mindset, that's all you know how to do is oppress. Period. But I got a problem with boule, because somewhere down the line, you have an ancestor that was thrown on a boat, that was brought here, that was bruised and mistreated and was put in captivity in this wicked nation. And you're literally spitting on their grave by saying, I'm going to bow down to the oppressor and also in turn oppress my people. I feel like being real tonight, y'all. I feel like being real tonight. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the Sudafed because my nose is congested. I don't think it's the Sudafed. But it's just, boule gets on my nerves even more. You are literally slapping your ancestors in the face that tried to make something out of nothing when you do stuff like that. So you're going to turn around and be an oppressor too. But don't realize the oppressor is using you as a tool to keep the people oppressed. And when he's done using you, guess what? He's going to put you in the same boat. He's going to put you in the same boat. Can I get an amen in the chat? I just need one amen. Can I get an amen in the chat? Can I get an amen? Our ancestors are crying right now, crying out right now. The blood of our ancestors are crying out from the soil. When the Lord win. And here it is. You are being oppressive yourself. You're letting a very slave master come to your school or your institution, and you're still bringing him, but yet you're condemning your own children. Can't understand why. Can't understand why. I don't care if they are protesting. Let them protest. If they protesting against Palestine, let them do it. That's their God-given right. If they want to protest, let them protest. But your student body is telling you, your Black babies are telling you, don't bring him here to speak. I don't want him here. Because you love that check and you love to lick the boots of your oppressor. You're saying, because most of these, I'm going to tell y'all some administrators in these AUs are the biggest coons I've ever met in my life. And I'm saying it. I feel like being real today, y'all. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm just pissed off because we send our Black babies to these HBCUs expecting for them to get the Black experience. And that's all they get is the boule experience. They get the boule experience. Instead of our children coming together and uniting and becoming one nation and going to school, you have a class mentality. If your parents are well-to-do and are boule, you're gonna get the best of best at the HBCUs. But if you got one that parent is pretty much just doing what they do to make sure they can get into school, you treat them like dirt. Y'all, can I get an amen? I'm sick of it. I'm more pissed off. I am more pissed off at the boule than I am the oppressor. The oppressor is doing what the oppressor is supposed to do, which is oppress. These boule, y'all know better. Y'all know better. The history of the boule. Let's look up something. Y'all feel like let's expose these coons. I don't know. Y'all, what's wrong with me today? I'm just let's see. Somebody spelled boule for me. I think I'm spelling it wrong. Hold on. Oh, I know how to spell it. Here we go. I found it. Oh, I can't see. Yep, there we go. Let's look at the history of the boule and what the purpose of the boule is. Boule have killed movements. They'll never do it themselves. They'll send us. They'll send us to do it. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm like, our people are just struggling. Let's look at this. I feel like talking about the boule today, y'all. I'm shifting the whole conversation.
Stereotypes of the 1%. Entitled.
Selfish.
Me.
White.
They don't play by the rules.
Not thinking about others that may have come from a different side of the track.
The 1%, as you well know, is overwhelmingly white. We're talking about the top tier of Americans who have and own a majority of the nation's wealth. These are people who are uber rich. There are a few African Americans who have made it to that tier, but compared to the number of whites in the 1%, they are literally 1% of the 1%.
So why is the 1% so white? It has to do with something called the racial wealth gap.
For every dollar of wealth held by the typical white household, the typical African American household owns only 6 cents of wealth.
6 cents. You heard right. So how did we get here?
When you think about wealth, you have to understand that it's generational, that wealth left over generations actually compounds and builds and grows. African Americans were held as slaves and they weren't allowed to earn any income. They weren't allowed to own things at one point in this history, and that actually has contemporary effects.
Effects Eddie Brown knew all too well, but was able to overcome.
Then we bought the building next door because since we didn't do that, we bought this. And then just September ago, we bought the next one too. So Brown Capital is basically all 3 townhouses.
Today, Eddie is the CEO of Brown Capital, a firm with over $8 billion in assets under management. Along with his wife Sylvia, the Browns are hoteliers, patrons of the Black Arts, and philanthropists. Eddie and Sylvia Brown led the way towards making this building a reality, one of the largest gifts from an African-American family in this nation's history. So you were born to a teenage mother in the Jim Crow South.
On the wrong side of the
on
track.
the wrong side of the track, which means, as they say down south, dirt poor.
But there's another concept, though, that people say, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. This is America.
You know, our pastor used to say, people make that statement. What they don't realize is many people don't have boots. So you got to help get the boots. Then maybe they can lift themselves up.
Is there an obligation, particularly in communities of color, to give back?
I feel very strongly that there should be. I mean, how did they get there? Surely a lot of it was talent, but somebody had to look out for them and help them along the way.
Despite their success, the Browns have still faced certain barriers to wealth creation. Home ownership is one of the pillars of wealth, and Blacks continue to face discrimination in the housing market.
You know, we've sold a couple of homes over the years, and I remember the realtor said, let's take down photos so one seeing the home that's white won't recognize it as being a Black homeowner. And I was just shocked. We were shocked.
Mm-hmm.
They said family photos around, they all should come down if you want to get
a sale,
well, a good price.
So I'll take you into the library now. It's one of my favorite rooms.
Even education hasn't leveled the playing field. Today, Blacks with a bachelor's degree have less than half the wealth of whites who didn't graduate from college.
I had two wonderful parents. They really strived for excellence. Now, my father was a neurosurgeon, and at the time, there were only 11 in the country. He could not practice in white hospitals. He was turned down time after time. They would not say it was a race issue, but we knew.
Sheila Johnson became one of the highest net worth Black women in the United States with the help of a game-changing television network, BET. She helped build BET from 2 hours of programming a week to a major network worth $2.3 billion by the time it was sold to Viacom in 2001.
So you are one of the, I would imagine, few Black women to own a property like this.
Probably.
How
You know,
does
I
that
don't
make you
know.
feel?
I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm very proud.
Is this more fun than BET?
Oh, yes. Absolutely, because I'm in total control. And it took me 10 years to get approvals.
Wow, that seems like a...
Y'all remember when BET used to be the place that Black people could come and be Black? You listen to the music. You know, Yo MTV rap. Was it Yo? No, that was MTV. But what was it? BET, what was the music thing that came on every night? I can't remember. But BET, when it first came out, y'all remember BET was Black. And what happens is we make all this money and we build it up and then we sell it. Video sold. Yep, video sold. Build it up and then we sell it and we give it to them when we should keep it and make it more Black. BET, if it would have stayed in the Black community, could open doors. They keep their own stuff. We sell to them and then sit there and say, I did this. How now? Because guess what? BET is not Black anymore. BET is Tyler Perry, just about. It's used to, it's such a vicious tool now, and you sold something that if you would have kept it in our community, would have opened doors. We don't keep our wealth. We sell it to them and then talk about, look at where I am now. You sold your vision. Sold it. Man.
Particularly long time.
It's a story that I think as an African American, they didn't want me to do this. And it was the fight of my life. I've never been more frightened in my life.
Despite the pedigree that you have, despite...
They didn't care.
They didn't care.
If you are a person of color, you can have as much money as you want. You're still who you are. And that was a lesson I really learned. But there is a loneliness that very wealthy African Americans do feel in their lives. When it all comes down to it, there are very few people in that category.
The loneliness is what I love. You know what? The ish people, you can't talk about them with the way that they do things. We're so afraid to keep things within our community. They keep everything in their community. They pull their people up and say, come on and work for me. Oh, let me get you started. We're alone because we build empires and we isolate ourselves and say, this is my empire. Instead of saying, sweetie, you got an idea. Let me fund your idea. Let me give you $100 grand. Because it looks like you have a great idea and I want to see your idea thrive. My brother over here, you got a great concept, but you need that financial backing. Let me give it to you. Hey, let me help you. The thing is, they like, if I did it, you should do it. Ish people don't do that. White people don't do that. They come up and they bring their families up with them. They bring their friends up with them. They bring their cousins up with them. So they're not lonely. We're lonely because I did this. She said, pedigree, I did this and I'm very lonely. Good. And I'm not talking about her because I don't know her, but we have an opportunity to be able to say, we don't need your family. The worst nightmare for them was what? Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street and these other black upcoming black wealthy neighborhoods or communities during the restoration time period for the black people was their worst nightmare. Because guess what happened? Tommy over here, I'm talking about Black Tommy over here funded Black Bill over here. Black Bill helped Emma over here get her a dress shop. Emma over here said, let me help you open a store. And guess what said? As I help you grow in the community, that wealth stayed in the community. So guess what? I can't go to your store, but guess what? Forget you. I don't need your store. I'm going to open my own store. I can't go to your pharmacist. Forget you. I don't have to go to your pharmacist. I have my own pharmacy. Hey, I can't use your doctors. Hey, I got a ton of black doctors over here I can go to. I got black dentists. I got black bankers. I got this. I got that. And what happened was they started growing. The black community was growing so fast that they said, we got to stop this. These niggas are nation builders. Let's go ahead and kill them now before they become a nation. They're a strong nation. I'm telling you, the mindset of some of these people, when you meet them, it's like, I did it, so you should do it. She says she's lonely. I feel bad for her because you're lonely because either you don't do it or you're afraid of doing it. There's a lot of black people out here that got great ideas. But I'm going to be honest, they need somebody to pull them up and say, hey, let me help you do this. Because as I build your network, my network grows. I may get 10. That 10 may build wealth and give to 100. That 100 can build wealth and give to thousands. Those thousands can build wealth and give to millions. And before you know it, it's a trickle effect. But we don't do that. I don't want to be the 1%. I want us to be the 100%. Man.
How do we diversify the 1%?
I think it's really incumbent upon us who have achieved some modicum of success to make it our business to mentor and to uplift.
There's no reason why we shouldn't have more people of color in the 1%, showing that that their talent can be reflected in terms of financial well-being. The data actually shows that people of color who are in job-creating positions hire more people of color.
It's about power. If you have the money, through society, you gain power. People start to notice you. Use that power appropriately. Reach out.
How can you use your power when you give your brainchild away? You handing BET Network, you took it out of the hands of the Black community and gave it to the Ish people. We have no power when you take things away like that. BET could have built a network that could have been great for the Black community, where you could have kept it clean. But we ain't seeing a bunch of Tyler Perry foolishness. But we're seeing the stuff on BET now. I wouldn't dare watch. But you sold your vision. That could have been a bigger vision. That would have been more of a blessing to the Black community. So
and feel secure within yourselves to be able to go out and help others. And that's the only way we're going to get stronger.
I don't know why. Hold on one second. I heard that too. I heard someone else built it. And she didn't build it, but she sold it. This is the stuff I'm talking about right here. That's the stuff I'm talking about. I heard about that. So let me I used to love BET as a kid. Oh my gosh.
Welcome. Come on in, everyone, to another great episode of Royal Black and Elite, where we meet to talk about Black excellence, different people in the Black community, and I just try to come from a different perspective. We often hear about the side that's subjugated, but there's also another side, an elite side, business people and people who are inventors, and I try to share all that here on my channel. But then we go into other conversations about history. And one of the histories that has been most hidden in the Black community is the history of secret societies. Now, people have always been intrigued by the thought of it, the secret societies, a group of wealthy elites who pull the strings of the world from behind a curtain of anonymity. These secret societies have been around since the 13th century. And we,
Hold on, that's
as a
the wrong
community
video.
and a
Hold on.
society, have only begun to find out about these people work.
Month long, we are celebrating Black History at WCNC Charlotte. This week, we continue our discussion on education. We've been highlighting historically Black colleges and universities. Greek organizations are a big part of the culture at HBCUs. WCNC Charlotte's Aisha Scott has the story from Johnson C. Smith University.
The history of Black Greek letter organizations like the one I'm a part of, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, dates back to the early 1900s when African American students were excluded from Greek organizations on predominantly white campuses.
Black sororities and fraternity were created on the basis of exclusion, right? At some point,
Tells me is a lot of these organizations they came about and they were birthed because they were excluded from the white fraternities. and sororities, but then turned around and created another level of exclusion. Anybody knows that if you go to an HBCU, I went there briefly to an HBCU. If you want to be a part of a Greek organization, you got to almost sign your name in blood. They take you through a lot of changes. Then you got to get accepted. Once you get accepted, you got to go through the process of you know what the process is. They take you through so much that by the time you get to the point where you bow down to the system, you're damn near forsaking God. How are you gonna value? How are you gonna, y'all? I don't know. I don't know. I look at it like this. Why do we have to mimic them? Why do we feel like we got to mimic them? Why? So I don't know why I'm on this today.
There were a group of Black men who were trying to be part of an organization and they needed votes. One white vote meant they couldn't be a part of the organization, so they decided to start their own.
Leland Howard is the president of the National Panhellenic Council of Charlotte, an organization that brings all 9 Black Greek letter organizations together for one common cause.
We are able to work together to ensure that there's change in the community. We work together to ensure that policies and social policies are being pushed.
Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is the first Black Greek letter fraternity founded in 1906 at Cornell University. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is the first Black Greek letter sorority founded on the campus of Howard University in 1908. Also called the Divine Nine, these sororities and fraternities were founded on the principle of service, and it's a value that is still upheld to this day.
We're out in the community, we're helping with voter education, we're helping with healthcare education, homelessness, we're feeding the homeless, we're out collecting supplies.
Over the years, African Americans have joined Black Greek letter organizations for a variety of reasons. I turned to a few of my colleagues to find out their why.
My mother and my aunts are all members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and my uncle is a member of Omega Psi Phi. So growing up, I saw the service. I saw them being dedicated to giving back to their community.
My stepdad's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, so that's all I ever knew. That's all he ever told me about.
The Sigmas, like, they helped me move in. They kind of like sheltered me. They guided me. So it just in my head, I was like, well, if I was to ever, play, it would be probably that, because that's what stood out to me the most.
They kind of adopted me as a little brother as I came in as a freshman. And I just admired the respect that they demanded from the team and the respect that they got on campus. And it was something that I wanted to be a part of.
A part of organizations that often felt underestimated.
We enjoy being underestimated because when we walk into spaces and people have doubted us, we're showing beyond compare that we're ready, we're excited, and that we have been leading for a long time. It's just a matter of other people recognizing how great we are.
Reporting in Charlotte, I'm Aisha Scott for WCNC Charlotte.
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, the more I look at this stuff, the more I realize that it's going to have to be Yah to bring all of us together. We want to be so like, why do we have to feel like we got to be a part of their system? Why do we have to feel like we're a part of that system? And understand that when you're a part of these organizations, that's how you can get into spaces that you normally wouldn't get into. And it's like, wow, so when does it come to the point that I don't know. So it's just interesting to see. So enough of that. Any more conversation on that? Now this Sudafed is starting to kick in. Let's talk about the news. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about we're in an economic upheaval. Y'all, right now, I was watching something on TikTok, and this guy had just gotten a job in New York for a company. And let me see if I can play it. Shifting the conversation, y'all, I changed it. I changed it quick. So if y'all hear me sniffing, again, it's my sinuses are giving me my allergies really giving me the work. So I'm gonna play this for you. This man's video. Our people are feeling it as well. So hold on, y'all. Okay. I'll play this video for y'all. I want to do a lighter side of the news today, so I'm not doing the normal stuff. So hold on. I'm telling y'all, my child is borderline. She is real, but she would be on. If there was a roster community, she would be a part of the roster community. The child is peace and love all day, every day. Except she believes Christ is Christ and not Haile Selassie is Christ. But let's see. Are y'all enjoying this? Is there something in specific first y'all want me to talk about? If not, we're just having just family conversation. Hit 1 if you're enjoying this. 2, y'all want to start talking about Israel and Palestine. I've talked about them so much. I'm like, I just need a break. 1 if you're good with where we're going. 2 if you want me to go and talk about the normal stuff, which is Israel and Palestine. Okay. Understand when the economy goes, just listen to this, y'all. Tell me what y'all thoughts are.
Job working as a product coordinator. So I just got fired from my job. I got fired from my technical job working as a product coordinator for a startup in Manhattan at 2 weeks in. I had 5 interviews with these people. That lasted over a month. I started work on April 26th. I haven't even got my first paycheck yet. First paycheck is going to land this Wednesday. The CTO had a meeting with me yesterday. Tells me that my work is not enough, it wasn't sufficient, what they expected wasn't good enough. I said to him, sir, it's been 2 weeks. What did you expect for me to do in 2 weeks? I've had no clear expectations, guidelines, or deliverables. Nothing. Turns to me and says, you know what? It's not enough. Sorry. And I said to him, I mean, honestly, I have 2 places where you could actually see the work that I've done being used by the team currently. And I point out 2 points of reference. One, it's a technical spec rebuild, or for those of you know, technical requirement, which is a document listing of all the features of a software product, right? And then another point of reference, which were all the tickets I had moved from the Trello board completed. I even mentioned that some people on the team, the engineering team, were championing my work so early in. Still tells me not enough. I then turn to him and say, my manager told me at my first day that I was not the most technically qualified candidate that you all interviewed for this role, but I still got it. So what did you expect?
I hate when they do that. It's like, I want you, but I'm gonna make sure you have imposter syndrome. I'm gonna put it in your head to make you see that you're really not what we needed, but we just chose you. Come on now, be real. Come on now. I so get tired of the passive aggressiveness within these environments, y'all. Like, you're not the most technical, but we still hired you. No, nobody's stupid. Nobody's stupid.
Do you expect me to do in 2 weeks? Not enough. I turn to him and I say, for the next person you guys have in this role, please make sure that you have some kind of goals, guidelines, milestones that they can measure themselves against to, ensure that they're being successful in their position. He's like, oh, your feedback is so good. And he keeps telling me something. He's like, oh, you're such a good person. He might have said that 3 or 4 times. He's like, you're a good person. Your spirit is so great. And I'm sitting here like, I said to him verbatim, I was like, sir, this is a business relationship. I am not taking anything personally that you're saying. Can you really tell me what's going on here? You're a good person. You're such a good person. Mind you, I was the only black person at this company. The only other black person that I saw, never interacted with, could not even see face to face. Mind you, most of the people who work in this company are remote. I had never met my manager in person. The only people I met in person was the engineering lead and 2 other engineers because they worked in the office that I had to attend on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Monday and Friday, work from home. Back to the point, the only other black person I met, or not even met, knew of at the company, one black person was a a customer service rep who lived in France and was part of this customer service team. So he keeps telling me, you're a good person, your spirit is great, and you know what, I'm going to offer you some things. And I'm sitting here like, okay, talk to me. And he's like, first, I'm going to offer you a severance package. And he puts some money on the table. He's like, I want to make sure, you're able to transition well. And the first thing I'm thinking is like, okay, what is going on here? Because I've been fired before and nobody offered me a severance package. I'm like, if you would have let me go, you could just let me go. And he's like, here's some money. And the second thing I'm going to do is I want to give you my word that I'm going to give you a letter of recommendation for wherever you go next. I want you to know that I think you're such a good person and I want you to land well. He said, I want you to land well. So during the meeting, I kind of I was like, okay, you know what? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But I kept trying to dig down to figure out what the reason was. And mind you, me, I'm not upset about it. I got the day to myself right now. I'm about to go chill for a little bit. But to me, I'm sitting here thinking what was it? And I realized it was my manager. We had a misunderstanding in communication style since I got there. Mind you, this is 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not a month, not 6 months, not a year. A misunderstanding in communication style. So when she would ask for something, I would double check with her. I would follow up with Slack. And to her, that was not taking initiative. That was not using the resources that were given. That was seen as, providing subpar work. 2 weeks. And so last Friday, we had a meeting. I was supposed to present some user flow design to her about the cancellation segment of whatever we were doing there. And she turns to me at the beginning and she's like, I want to actually review your progress. And I'm like, come on. She says to me, 4 points. She makes 4 points. I say nothing. After the first point, she's like, do you have anything to say? And I said, no, just give me everything. And mind you, I'm writing everything down. Every single point, the example she uses, what she's referencing, I write everything down because I'm like, not only is feedback important to me and I need to know how I'm doing better, but if there is a different opinion or another perspective of this that I'm seeing, let me be able to give it to you. At the end of her talk, I say to her, listen, feedback is a two-way street, and the reason what I was saying to that is I'm new to the role, but you're new to me. And I'm hoping that we can come to some kind of place of understanding so that we can better this relationship. She looks shocked. She's like, and I'm like, okay, so she probably thought I wasn't going to say anything or just take what she was saying as face value. And I was like, nah, that's not how I work, right? Long story short, I end up taking the feedback, what she wrote, and I compiled it into an email. I put everything into an email. I was citing Slack messages, deliverables, things that I had published, everything that I had worked on those 2 weeks, I put it in that email. So there was no place for she's right, she right. This is what I see, this is what I did. And if there was a misunderstanding, I hope we can come to a better relationship moving forward. Sent that email at the end of Friday. And right now, by Monday, yesterday, I was out. So, long story short, I kind of want to end this on one thing. Imposter syndrome. Let's talk about that. When I had gotten into this role, mind you, the manager told me I'm the least technically qualified, and I'm thinking, do I have enough to be here? The first thing I thought is I have had a certified and verifiable track record. I'm talking about my resume from professional spaces to academic spaces. There is nothing that I cannot accomplish. There's nothing I cannot learn. I'll start right there. I have a master's degree. I'm 9% of black people in this country who have a master's degree. And if things are not clear, and if I feel like I need support, you need to reach out to your manager, right? And that's what they're there for. And they're there to guide you and support you so that you don't feel like what you're coming into is overwhelming. And 3, if people are championing your work at the job you're doing, you have to know you're doing well. Like, you have to know you are onto something. I remember one of the first or second meetings we had in terms of the project, a platform meeting around the software we're doing. One of the product owners was literally like, yo, look at this guy. Like, he's already doing the work a week in. Like, he says that in front of everybody. And folks are just like, yeah, look at that. It's great. Except for my manager. Anyway, long story short, this is an experience. I'm really glad for the role. I'm glad for what I was able to learn those 2 weeks. I know it's not normal. This is a cutthroat industry. People are, you could be out in today, out tomorrow. And a lot of it has to deal with, personality and how you talk to people and if people like you. That's it.
So that's why I tell people every black person in corporate America is not boule. People tend to think that black people that actually made it in corporate America, you've made it. No, you haven't. You're dealing with a whole nother set of fighting endeavors. You walk in already in the negative. The expectation with some of your peers and your colleagues is they gave you the job out of pity. Because you remember when he said at the beginning, they said, you don't have the technical skills, but we hired you anyway. I've heard people say that to me. I came from IT where my background was supporting systems like Linux, Red Hat. That was my background. Oracle databases, the system administrative side of that realm. But it was short-lived rather, because they saw that I was able to communicate well with others outside of sitting in front of a computer screen. So very early in my career, I was presenting analytics. So I said, sorry to hear that. Oh, don't do that. But very early in my career, I was put in a position to look at things, analyze numbers, and give you what I think from an analytic perspective of how well the organization is doing. And this is a black child that had been already as a child labeled as having ADHD, but couldn't understand why this child can like numbers. I loved numbers. Numbers to me are like letters in a book. Every number tells a story to me. I've always been like that. So with that being said, my ability to communicate to a broader audience of how we're doing from a health perspective when it comes to the service desk and when it comes to IT operations, I've always had that gift of gab. I can talk. Y'all know I can run my mouth. One thing I can do, y'all gifted me with the ability to run my mouth, and I can run my mouth. I can talk, honey, talk down. But with that being said, I grew up with a mother and a godmother that spoke very well. So with that, they taught me how to communicate well with others and be able to communicate to the point that everybody can understand what I'm saying. And with that, people have a tendency. So with that, I was able to grow and develop in my career fairly fast. But with that, what happens is you come in with walls even before you even get in the door on your first day. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of being employed. 2 weeks of being employed, you're still trying to figure out what a coffee maker is. You're trying to figure out where the restroom is. You're trying to figure out where each meeting room is. You're trying to find a good parking spot. You're trying to figure out where the good lunch spots are. You'll just not have it. But this dude was 2 weeks in. But the thing is, you got to be real careful with New York. New York is real slick for you because he in Manhattan. What they do is hire you, steal your ideas, and fire you. Yes, they will do that. They do that. I'm gonna just leave it right there. I know from experience. They'll take your ideas and then kick you out. But with that being said, Black people come in the door in a negative. Off the rip, they expect for us to fail. They expect for us to be a problem. They expect us to not know. But if we're too confident, let me kill your confidence before you become an uppity ninja. Let me go ahead and tell you, you don't have the technical skills, but we still hired you. My first question to you is, if I don't have the skill set needed to perform my job effectively, why would you hire me? If this job required for me to be a little bit more technical than I would expect to be, and you see that there's a gap there, why would you hire me? No, let me get in your head and make you think you're not good enough. So I can keep my foot on your neck. Every chance I get, oh, we got to work on. How does dude 2 weeks into his role and already closing out stories within a project board? What? When I saw that, I said, it took me 3 months to even understand the project board, to start closing out stories. So if you know anything about Agile is supported by stories. Stories are work efforts. They can be small to big, but they can't be too big. So Max, cut that down. So the work could be something that we need to do in 2 weeks, but it builds upon a bigger project. So storyboards may be implement a button to say yes. The next story may be implement a button to say no. The next story might be implement a button that says I don't know. Those are stories. So with that story, you have to say we need to be. The customer may say we need to have the option of yes. You take that and you give it to the IT, and the IT says, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's all our stories to be able to produce that initiative. And with that, you're cleaning out the board. If y'all ever saw boards are a nightmare. Boards are usually supported by a system that looks like a board, but actually it's just a bunch of tasks. And you can have 100 tasks in there. And each task is broken up into 2-week increments, maybe 3 weeks. And they say, this is what we can do for 2 weeks. But what happens? Life happens. You may have, while you're doing that, you still have other things you got to work on. So guess what happens? I'm behind on my storyboard because I might get caught in an escalation, or I may have gotten caught up in this. I may have gotten caught up in this. They're just my operational thing. So I'm not able to finish my story. So what happens is they move the story to the next sprint, or they make a decision to just say, we're going to plan it for another time. That means it goes in something called a backlog. Anybody that knows about Agile, backlogs are project task graveyards. Yes, sprints. That's what I said, sprints earlier. Project task graveyards. That's what I call them, graveyards. Because every task you can't do, either it moves to the next project cycle, which is called sprints, or gets dumped into the backlog. Backlog alone is a beast. So he said within 2 weeks, he was knocking out things on the board. I said, 2 weeks? First, 2 weeks. Then he said he had to build out. He said for cancellations, we had to build out the processes. So building out processes are not something that you just write down. Processes is just make you just be like, I'm quitting. I just got through building out a process for my job. And the process is long. And we do things like if you ever seen those little process flow charts where you have like a box and then you have a little rectangle, and it may say decision points, yes or no, and then it moves to another box. When you do those things, those process flows are not the easiest things, because you got to do something. But it's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna go into that because I'm geeking out right now. But you can't do that at first. Put it like this: you can't do that on the first 2 weeks of coming into the job, because first you got to learn what the product is. Understand the product. Product can be anything, a service or something you provide to somebody. A product can be anything from I'm trying to think of a good way I can't explain a product because I'm too sleepy. But products can be small things that you're giving to the customers. Google may have a new browser, or Amazon may have a new section where you can order movies and ship them to you. And then, I mean, it could be a bunch of things, products. So when you have a product owner, you have to understand what the product is. Doing that takes months to do, because from there you got to learn about what the projects are, what we're supposed to be doing, what's scoped for this particular quarter, how many sprints. You got to learn all that takes 3 months to just do. 3 months just to do. Sometimes this dude came in 2 weeks into the job, closing out stories. I said, but he wasn't letting them get in his head. He said, I'm not gonna let y'all get in my head. I'm finna go ahead and keep doing my job. He was killing it walking in the door. If he was doing that 2 weeks in, they wasn't expecting his brother to do that. It's just ever change. Things change, and you working and you doing this. This brother was killing it walking in the door. They didn't expect that. And she possibly got intimidated. So instead of saying, this is my star performer, this ninja can't be my star performer, no, we got to get him out. And then what they do is take you into those conversations with them to try and kill your confidence. I call them confidence killing conversations. That's what I call them. So let me get in your head and make you feel like you're not capable of doing your job. But what I'm going to do is make it seem like I gave you the job because, yeah, I felt sorry for you. But it's called, I call them confidence killing conversations. But what happened is, you didn't kill his confidence. What he says that, oh, let me take note of what you expect of me, and then let me follow up and send you per our conversation. I said, this ninja did a per our conversation. Anybody in any form of jobs know what per our conversation means? Per our conversation is like, let me make sure and tell you to cover my butt of what you said, so that later on, if you decide to say you didn't say you did it, I can play this email back to you real quick, per our conversation. Per our conversation, she didn't like that because she said this confidence killing conversation was to destroy his confidence and make him bow to me. But what he did was play my words against me. And she said, how dare you? We got to get him out because he's too smart for his own good. He's a smart nigga. He's an uppity ninja. So they got him up out of there within 2 weeks. I ain't never heard of that. This dude said within 2 weeks he was building out processes, closing stories within the board. I said, people do that in 3 to 6 months into a job. Y'all, I saw that. I said, we're a problem because no longer are we the generation that we're not smart enough. We too smart. We know too much. We're a problem. And he's an example of that. So that was really interesting. So, family, I'm trying my best to figure out if I want to do one more story or save it for later on this weekend, because I plan to do a few things this weekend. Let me emphasize, I am still going to talk about what's going on with the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. But I wanted today to be a conversation with just us. It wasn't organized. I wasn't planning for it to be organized. I was just going to say, well, let me play this. This is what I've been looking at all week. Oh yeah, y'all keep everybody in Texas and in Houston in your prayers. Houston had a tornado to hit, so keep them lifted in your prayers. There's a couple of people in our community was impacted by it, so keep them in prayer. But y'all, there's so much going on, and I got a feeling this is finna go downhill from here. So, all right, we are gonna talk about my normal scheduled programming on tomorrow or either Sunday. Right now, I just wanted to have a chill moment. So, thank you so much for supporting me. I'm getting ready to go to bed. My sinuses are messing me up right now. And we'll revisit this conversation. We'll talk about this brother because he just did a couple of TikToks, and I hope his name is in there. Follow him because I hate that how they did him. So his name is let me see. What is his name?
So
His name is, what is his name? Niles. So follow Niles on NYLES on TikTok. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Yeah, Cynthia. I think Cynthia. I'm saying it right. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. But yeah, follow him and keep up with him because I've been watching him. So, with family, thank y'all so much for y'all support. I know I've been MIA for the past couple of days, but it's been a rough couple of days. So keep my family in prayer, and I keep y'all in prayer as well. So, all right, family, I'm going to bed. I thank y'all for y'all support, and I will see y'all later on this weekend.